Welcome to ZMD Woodworks. I'm Xander, and today I'm going to show you how I made this Kumiko serving tray. Let's get started. So I'm going to throw you right in the middle here. This project wasn't planned at all. It came to life after a failed attempt at a base for my grandfather clock I had recently completed. After a ton of hours on the CNC and a lot of resin, I ended up hating the look of it. It was like way too big and way too white. It didn't match the overall theme. So I decided to throw it aside, but I picked it up recently and here's what we did. This serving tray is by no means original Japanese Kumiko. I spent over 500 hours doing original Kumiko on the grandfather clock, but this is entirely different. If you want to see how you make traditional Japanese Kumiko, let me know in the comments and I'll do a video on it soon. Now that I've rough cut the pieces straight out of the base itself, I'm setting it up and bringing it to the table saw to get some square edges before we bring the border into this project. With everything I build, I try to put a unique twist on things, and same goes for this project. Here I'm milling up the blanks for the border of this board, and I didn't want to take away from the Kumiko, but at the same time I wanted a more unique look, so I settled on half-lap joinery. This was the final cut to rough up those blanks for the border of the tray. You can see here I overlap them, kind of like the half lap's going to be eventually. But first things first, I had to take those to the drill press and get a Forstner bit hole in them for the unique handle design I'm going to do later. I lost that footage unfortunately, but you'll see what I'm talking about after I cut these pieces on the table saw. Here's the first angle of that half-lap joint I was talking about earlier. I haven't invested in a dado stack for some reason, so I have to do this manually one by one with my 1/8 inch blade. Let's just say it takes a little while, that's for sure. Now you might be wondering why dowels just came into the mix. I'm cutting them here to length for what I was talking about earlier. They're going to be the handles for this board. So here I am insetting them in that Forstner bit hole we talked about earlier. Now that all our pieces are cut, we're ready to get gluing. The clamps out, some glue, and let's not mess this up. of woodworkers who don't like sanding, and I'm no exception. I absolutely detest it. But right here, I had to do a little bit of sanding in between where that dowel handle is going to go later. Otherwise, these corners are going to be impossible to get the glue out of at a later stage. Now that that's all done and set, cleaned up and ready to go, it's time to get glue in these dowel handles on. I saved the 2 offcuts from the table saw to make this a little bit easier for me and not to dent those handles with the clamps. You whip up my appetite. Here's a time lapse at like 8 or 12 times speed, sanding the entire board down. At least the sanding is followed by one of my favorite parts of every project, and that's applying the ODs. I just love watching the grain pop, and with this white resin inlay, that walnut is just absolutely stunning. So that just about wraps up this project. Kumiko serving tray came out really nice. I really like it. I got the maker's mark on the back. But more importantly, I want to know what you guys think, so let me know down in the comments. Any tips, any recommendations, or do you just really love it? It's available for sale at ZMD Woodworks right now, my website. I will see you guys on the next one here at ZMD Woodworks.